The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Georgia. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the fields of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. If you all only knew what goes on behind the scenes, well, we're here live with you, and I think we're going to be coming on video within the next 3 minutes.
I think we're there.
Talk to me, Steve.
I'm waiting to hear if we are on air right now.
We are.
Okay, here we. Okay, I think we're in business. Are you there, Dr. Taylor? You at all? Boy, today's just been a mess. I'm going to come back on our phone lines, Rebel, because it doesn't look like this is going to work for us today at all.
Okay. Well, how you doing, Dr. Taylor?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Hi, Steve.
Okay, I guess.
Are we okay now?
We are. So we're going to leave it like this. Keep your computer on and your phone on. So we're great.
Okay, very good. Good morning, Dr. Taylor.
Hello. How are you doing?
We're doing well. We have been better. This has been a little crazy morning. For some reason, the download has not been working properly, but those things happen because our show is live. See, a lot of the shows you see are pre-recorded. So, Dr. Taylor, first of all, I want to thank you because you give up your time several times a month to educate our listeners and viewers about weight loss, about functional medicine. And this is just such an easy show to do because we have one of the top physicians in the state of Georgia. So I just wanted to tell you we are so blessed to have you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy being here.
And you know what? I had a lady, which I'm going to send you the letter, who wrote that she doesn't miss any of your shows. She's in, it's the city where University of Georgia is. Athens?
Athens. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she listens to the show, and she's getting her friends to listen because you've got such a world of knowledge. And, you know, we usually spend the first part of the show introducing you. A lot of people know who you are. This is the first of the year, so we're talking about weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Taylor, you've got so many things in your bag to help people to lose weight. And
Yeah.
I love that about you because it's not a cookie cutter thing when it comes to weight loss.
Oh, well, true. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I tell my patients, but usually by the time that you come to a physician looking for a weight loss solution, you've already tried all the popular diets. You've probably done Atkins, keto, paleo. You probably, you've had gym memberships, bought Pelotons. You've done all of that stuff by the time you come to a doctor seeking weight loss. So if the traditional methods like, let fewer calories and burn calories, that whole thing, if that doesn't work, and again, it works for a lot of people, and it seems to work a lot better the younger you are. When you're young, you can eat Crystal burgers and Big Macs and whatever, and you don't gain a pound. As you get older, because your physiology changes as you get older, uh, sometimes those traditional things that you used to do to lose weight don't work anymore. And that's usually because, again, your physiology changed. Either your gut is not working right, either your hormones are not where they should be. Years of a bad diet finally catches up with you and you have insulin resistance. So all of those things can prevent weight loss. And one of my sayings that I really believe is that you can't diet or exercise your way past a hormone problem, whether that be estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid. Uh, it's not gonna work. And your gut is also the center of one hormone. Well, it's not really a hormone, it's a neurotransmitter called serotonin. And serotonin is what makes you happy or feel good. So if your gut is not working, a lot of times your serotonin is down. So you are forced to eat carbs because carbs increase serotonin. And so even if your gut is malfunctioning or you're not absorbing things correctly, all of those things could be the reason why the routine exercise more, eat less, they don't work. Uh, and a lot of times docs think that a patient is lying. Oh, you must be sneaking food. You must not be, you're really not working out 3 times a week. Most of the time those people aren't, they're not lying to you. They're really putting in the work that should result in weight loss, but it doesn't.
Dr. Taylor, when we first started a couple of years ago, we talked about doing a show on anti-aging.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you that, and I'm not going to repeat it again, but you told everybody your age one time on the show. And I got to tell you, I was shocked because you look like you're in your early 40s. You do. You've got the energy, you've got the look. So you walk the walk for sure.
Yeah.
And another thing I've learned about you, doctor, is that you might have a health issue and no one seems to be able to help you out. But you know what? There's times that you can go see Dr. Taylor and he's going to find out what's causing the problem first.
Yeah.
And I love that about you. It's about, like if I came to you versus GNC's going to hand me a pill.
Yeah.
They don't even know anything about my body, nothing. You are going to take the time to find out what's causing the problem so you can treat it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, if you go to GNC, more than likely they're going to push on you whatever they have an overstock of, because the manager's going to say, hey, look, we got too many of these pills. You need to push these up front. I mean, so you're really going in there, and the people who are going to benefit is GNC because they're going to unload stock on you. But I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I had a patient who came in. She had just moved from Arizona, had been out in Arizona for like 18 years or something. So anyway, she had been here for a year, and all of a sudden she gained like 20 pounds. And she's like, my body's falling apart. I'm reacting to all these things. And a lot of that can be from the environment. But then she also talked about how she had been to all these docs and she had gained these 20 pounds like within a year. And they were like, well, everything's fine. Well, she brought her lab results in, and I don't want to get too technical, but overall, you can understand what I'm saying. So they were looking at her thyroid function. So they look at something called TSH. A normal TSH is anywhere between 2 and 5. Okay. So, well, I would say like 1 and 5. So a year ago, this patient, her TSH was like 1.8 or 1.2, and then now it's like 3.8. So what I'm getting at is that
Wow.
even though that her thyroid function was in the normal range, it was really 3 times worse than what it was a year ago. Okay, so a lot of times docs
That makes
just see,
sense.
oh, it's in the normal range. It's between 1 and 5. But if she was at 1 and now it's 3, and with the TSH, the higher it goes, that means your thyroid's not working as well. So even though it's in the normal range, it's 3 times worse than what it was a year ago. So that can explain her weight gain. All of a sudden, her thyroid function has decreased by 2/3. So that's a different way of looking at medicine. I don't care what the normal range is. What have you been living at? She's been living at a 1 or 1.5, and now all of a sudden in the last year it's up to 3 something, almost 4. So that's how functional medicine people think. Wow, your function has decreased, even though you're in the normal range. That can cause her to not function normally and not be able to control her weight. So, she was excited that somebody actually explained to her what those lab results really meant, and that we should look further into that. So, so that's what we did. So that's the difference in how traditional physicians think. As long as you're in the normal range, you're normal. I don't care if you gain 30 pounds, it's still normal. But functional medicine, we look at, oh, wow, I see. Even though you're in the normal range, but this is a big difference from where you were. So, that can be the cause of a big change in her physiology also.
You talk about stress a lot when it comes to weight gain. How does a person, well, let me ask you this. Does everybody know that they're stressed out? Do you actually know you're stressed out, I guess?
Well,
Because
you
might not know why you're gaining weight.
Yeah.
And you have talked about stress.
Yeah. So let's say, I told you she moved from Arizona, and, she's like, my body's falling apart. Moving and changing jobs and all that stuff, that's very stressful. So this patient now, here's what cortisol does. When you're under stress, it actually slows down thyroid function, because your cortisol wants to be the energy producer, not your thyroid. So one of the reasons why her thyroid function may have diminished is because she had the stress of moving across the country, and moving away from somewhere she had been for 18 years. And she feels like her whole body is falling apart. And that can all be due to stress. We wrote a book called The Stress Connection, how stress is connected to everything. So it can screw up your thyroid. It can screw up her female hormones, estrogen, progesterone. Cortisol can screw up your gut. So, yeah. Do people know they're stressed out? People feel it, and people say, oh, I think it's due to stress. But you can actually measure that. We measure cortisol and stress in the saliva. And a lot of times people think they have one issue, and really it's all starts and ends with cortisol. So yeah, people may not know they're stressed out, but I see a lot of patients, they may think it's their thyroid. Men think it's their testosterone. Women think, it's some kind of other hormone. But it's very important. It's very valuable to know, to be able to see black and white. This is what this stress has done to me. And the other thing is, a lot of times you don't gain the weight, or you don't feel bad while you're going through the stress. Your body may make enough cortisol to get you through the stress, but then after the stress is gone, cortisol or adrenal gland function starts to decline. And that's when you get the fatigue, you get the cravings for carbohydrates, because you're wanting to increase your energy. And that's what's confusing to patients. They're like, well, I'm not under stress now. That lady may not be under stress now. She's already moved. but then that aftermath is where she begins to feel the effects of the stress that she's been through.
Dr. Taylor, can you get people to lose weight that have a hard time getting into the gym or staying, on a certain diet regimen? Can you still lose weight?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one, if you get your hormones straight, I always tell patients, hey, look, if you've been trying to lose weight and your only problem is we need to get your hormones straight, if we get your hormones straight and you go back and do what you were doing to lose weight or going to the gym or whatever, it should begin to give you some results. And that's what I see. Now, you're right. Some people, they travel a lot. They can't get to the gym. They got kids. They got whatever. Now, I'll tell you the weight loss drugs, the semaglutide, which is what Ozempic and Wegovy is, and then tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro. Those injections, they help a lot, even if people can't get to the gym or have a hard time staying on a diet. The way those drugs work, they really work on the brain to curb cravings. It slows down stomach emptying so that you feel full quicker. It drives glucose into the cells, so it's not in the blood where it can store fat. So even though you eat less, your glucose is used more efficiently. And it seems to be able to steer you away from things that you shouldn't be eating. It makes it where sweets aren't appealing to you. A lot of times alcohol is not appealing to you anymore. And with those patients, a lot of times if they just take those injections once a week, it leads to significant amount of weight loss. The key to it, and you'll hear these stories about patients having all these bad GI problems, and that is true.
Yes.
If you have too big of a dose too soon. You start off, you have to titrate the dose up over the course of months. They stay on one dose for 1 month. If they don't have any issues, you increase it. If they don't have any issues, you increase it. In my practice, as long as you titrate that dose up slowly, monitor them once a week, monitor them once a month. We do a body composition analysis to make sure that they're losing fat and not muscle. They also, I read an article, they talk about Ozempic face or Wegovy face, where you have this drooping skin. That's when people lose muscle. So it's very important, I think, when we do our weight loss program, is we make sure people aren't losing muscle. You don't want to lose that. You're trying to lose fat. So all weight loss is not good weight loss. I tell patients, you have a cancer patient who lost 20 pounds and you have somebody else who lost 20 pounds, of fat. The cancer patient will look awful because they're losing muscle. The other patient who lost fat, they'll look great. So that's why we think it's very important that you need to monitor these patients, make sure they're not having, awful GI symptoms. And the other thing is to make sure that they're losing what you want them to lose, the fat and not the muscle.
Well, I want everybody to know, because, we're all over Georgia. And I want people to know they can contact you. They can actually, whether it's Zoom or telemedicine is what we call it, and you can actually send them out a saliva test, and you can do certain testing through the mail. So even if you're not in the Atlanta area, Dr. Taylor can still help you.
Yeah, we can. My whole appointment program allows for telehealth, and we send out a link. We can see each other just like we're doing here, and we can send out things. We can look over lab results. I can share my screen, and we can go over lab results so you understand what's going on and what we need to do. So COVID kind of loosened up those telemedicine rules that we had. So it opens us up to be able to provide some services, even through telemedicine. And again, we see ourselves as a consultant. We don't do primary care. So you need to still have your regular routine doctor wherever you are. We're just an add-on. We're just, so you need to get your routine screenings, all that stuff with your doc. And we're just a little add-on to try and fill in the gap where your doc may not be able to help you.
You're too humble, Dr. Taylor.
Well,
We're
the
getting a
thing is,
lot of people writing us
yeah.
about the injections you had brought up.
Yeah.
And one of the questions people want to know is, do you or can you stay on it for the rest of your life? In other words, if you stop taking it, do you gain the weight back?
Well, it's two sets of people I see when we've been doing this now for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, so we can see what happens. If you have somebody who is dedicated to exercising and eating right or whatever, and we help them along to lose the 20 pounds that they gained because of menopause and all that stuff, but they're dedicated, they just kind of got stuck, then a lot of times they can lose the weight and go and start doing what they were doing to maintain their weight before, and they're fine. We have other patients who what they do is they get to a ideal weight or close to an ideal weight, and it seems to work best if you're not going to just really go at it and try and make sure you don't gain the weight back. Is that what they do is they take the doses and they stretch them out. They may stretch them out initially and do them every 2 weeks. And if they feel like their weight is pretty stable, they stretch it out to every 3 weeks. And then they may stretch it out to once a month. So we have patients who do that. If you don't do something to try and keep your weight down, then you're probably going to gain the weight back. So
Right.
It's one of those two. But it seems like you do need to be on some maintenance, but it seems also like some of the changes are more permanent. I get a lot of people say, they used to drink wine at dinner, and now they don't really enjoy it that much. And that's even after they've been off of it for a while. They don't regain a lot of their bad habits. Some people do, but a lot of people will say, I still, don't like meat as much. You'll see that patients are more apt to become plant-based or whatever. It's a hodgepodge of things, but yeah, well, some people need to stay on it in some form for an extended period of time. It seems like that. And then some people can do pretty well after they finally lose that last 15, 20, 25 pounds or whatever. And they can keep it off within a range of, 4 or 5 pounds one way or the other.
Well, I'm kind of telling this, Dr. Taylor, for the first time, but we have a restaurant dining show that we do in South Florida. And we actually had Dr. Taylor on because he eats plant-based foods. I told you, he walks the walk. He even has his own garden.
Yeah.
And it was like one of our most popular shows, Dr. Taylor.
Yeah.
So we are going to invite you back. And I think because of the amount of letters that are coming in, we're going to do our next show, a lot of it about the injection, what's safe, what's not safe.
Okay.
Because you actually have the most experience in this because you've been doing it for a year and a half.
Yeah. Because compounding pharmacies allowed me to be able to do it, and it's not so expensive. If you get it from a compounding pharmacy, we'll get the generic, but it works just as well. But it's about half the price if your insurance doesn't pay. And insurance companies have gotten a lot more strict. It used to be easier that you could get them to pay for the brand name, but now because of shortages or whatever, they're real strict. You need to be able to prove that you have type 2 diabetes before they'll let you use it. Yeah, and that's kind of the craziness of our insurance system. They want you to wait until you actually have a significant problem, then they want to try and fix it instead of trying to keep the person from getting to that point. It's just I don't understand it. Just keep gaining weight, oh, now you have type 2 diabetes. Okay, now we'll treat it. So yeah, that's the difference.
I feel the same. Because a lot of things a lot of health issues are related to weight, and why the insurance companies, it would save them a lot of money in the long run.
I know it's short-term thinking. I mean, it really is. Weight gain or weight loss has been associated with Alzheimer's, with cardiovascular disease, with kidney function, hypertension, sleep apnea, all of that stuff. I mean, I would tell you 70% of our chronic diseases are associated with weight loss or can be helped by maintaining a decent weight. So yeah, it's an epidemic. It's a medical, emergency. We're the most obese country in the world, and it causes a lot of our health issues. And reason why we are not ranked as, even I don't think we're even ranked in the top 20 healthiest nations, because we have such a problem with obesity.
Well, Dr. Taylor, gosh, your shows always go by so fast. I even actually kept you on a little longer today. You're going to be back with us again next month. Give everybody the best way to set up an appointment with you.
Well, if the best way is to go to our website, www.taylormedicalgroup.net. And on each page, I think it's at the upper right, it has a button that says book now. So you can book there. You can click on that and you can book appointment. You can book a telehealth appointment. It'll have different categories based on, what kind of service you're looking for. And even if you click on the wrong service, once we talk, we'll figure out what we need to do. Or you can call at 678-443-4000. But again, booking online is probably the easiest thing to do. But, we'll be happy to accept your phone call during our business hours.
And I got to tell people, you have some of the most amazing, we don't talk about it a lot, but you have some of the most amazing supplements.
Yeah. Our supplement company is called TaylorMDFormulations.com, TaylorMDFormulations.com. We have, we've been in that business for about 12 years. And our goal was to simplify the supplement business, is to not give you a bunch of single entity products like B5, B6, vitamin C. We try to combine things that would work to help a system to function. So we try to be able to help people with a minimal amount of supplements. I was under the impression, dealing with patients for a long time, that patients only going to do 2 or 3 things on a regular basis. So you need to figure out the top 2 to 3 things you need to have the patient work with so they get the maximum result. And that's how you look at it. You can't try and get somebody to take 10 things for 10 months before they get better. You got to make a difference pretty quickly.
Well, Dr. Taylor, you are so beloved by this show. I'm so blessed that we have you. Have a good weekend. And again, Happy New Year to you and your wife. And we'll see you again next month.
Okay. All right. Good day, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
It's Dr. Eldred Taylor. He is amazing. Anyway, that's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next month with more. Next week. Next week, we'll be back with you with more Ask the Experts. See you soon.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.